What is up, everyone? It's Chase here, and today we are going to be going over an arcanist DPS. All attributes go into stamina. I got 936 stamina recovery, 207 health recovery, 483 magicka recovery. The recoveries don't really matter though because I still got really good sustain. But my recoveries are so low because of my banner. However, I need my banner because it's the only way that I can generate ultimate, and it also increases my damage. So if you want the 100k DPS, you need this banner. You need scribing for this build. Alright, I got 28,000 maximum stamina, 21,000 maximum health, 4k weapon and spell damage, 32% critical chance, 7,000 physical and spell penetration, about 10,000 resistance on my back bar. I got slightly less pen, critical chance, and damage, but the rest of my stats are the same. I don't use my back bar too often, I'm mainly on the front bar. So, let's go over my gear. Okay, so for my Mundus, I'm using the Shadow Stone for more critical damage. For my potions, I have Essence of Stamina. I guess you can use these too for the major savagery. If you have enough of these, you'll be able to use them. And then for my food, I'm using Dubious Cameron Rune, which gives me stamina recovery, max stamina, and max health. So for my front bar, I have Deadly Strike. 2 axes, one of them with poison damage, another one with fire damage enchantment, both with precise. Everything I'm running is gold. So this is Deadly Strike. This set comes from Cyrodiil. Now my back bar, I have the Maelstrom Inferno Staff with a weapon and spell damage glyph and infused trait. And then I have Deadly Strike with Bloodthirsty for my jewelry, physical harm glyphs. And then for my mythic item, I'm using Velothi Earl Mage's Amulet. That's why I said that you need your banner to charge up your ultimate. Because your banner will give you minor heroism, which is very important. This reduces the damage of your light and heavy attacks by 99%. Light and heavy attacks are one of the best ways to charge up ultimate. But if you keep using them, you will have really little damage on this build, so it's not worth it. So get your banner and put heroism on it. You'll be fine. So I'm using the same glyph and trait as my rings. Velothi Earl Mage's Amulet adds 1650 offensive penetration, increases your damage done to monsters by 15%, and gain minor force at all times, which increases your critical damage done by 10%. But you also reduce the damage of your light and heavy attacks by 99%. So, yeah, keep in mind on your skill rotation for this build. Skill rotation is key, not light and heavy attacks. Even if you don't heavy attack, you're still going to have pretty good sustain, even with that low recovery. So for my armor, I'm wearing Perfected Ansels. I have Divines on everything. I gotta change this glyph later. This is going to be a stamina glyph, just like the rest. But I'm wearing the Slime Crawl light helmet. Specifically the light because of the extra pen and critical chance. Because if I didn't have it, then I wouldn't have 30% critical chance, which isn't good. The minimum critical chance you need on this build is 30%. And then this is my critical damage with no buffs. Deadly Strike, Arm Cops. I have the Deadly Strike shoulders with Divines. All of my armor is Divines. And then I have Perfected Ansel's chest, waist, gloves, pants, and boots. This comes out of Wayrest Sewers. Again, this comes out of Cyrodiil. And then this set comes out of the Sanity's Edge trial. In order to get it in Perfected, you have to do it on Veteran. And then for this amulet, you can look up a video about how to get it. The DLCs you would need for this are Necrom and Greymoor. So now let's go over the skills. I got my Fate Carver. It's very important that you have 3 crooks before you use this. Because if you do that, then it'll increase the damage done by 33%. And decreases cost by 16% per crooks. Which means you get a 99% damage done increase. Not only do you get 99% damage done, but you also get almost half of the cost removed. So you still got good sustain on this, because it doesn't even cost that much to begin with. Because it's only 337 every 0.3 seconds. And then the channel time is 4.5 seconds. This is your main spammable. This is how you generate your crooks. And Inspired Scholarship. Need the bottom 2 passives, so you still have to get this skill line to 50. Because if you max this out, then you get more ultimate from it. So you have to get this skill line to 50, and you'll generate ultimate easier. This one, you get every passive. This one doesn't have to be 50, it just has to be leveled up enough to get the top 3 passives. This one doesn't matter. I have a damage shield, but this doesn't matter because it says with a curative rune form ability slotted, and I'm not using any of them. But these passives still help, because they don't say that you have to have anything slotted or use anything. Dual wield, get every passive. Deadly cloak. This is why it's important that we're running axes. Each axe increases critical damage by 6%, so that's 12% critical damage increase. By the way, I am a dark elf, but if you're gonna create a new character for this build or you have a race change token, then I would advise that you either go orc, because as an orc you would heal whenever you do damage with their passives, so it'd be a bit survivable, because I don't even really have a self heal on this build besides resolving vigor. Or you can go Khajiit to kind of max out your critical damage. So I would go Orc or Khajiit. So my backbar ultimate is Elemental Rage. It's another reason why it's important that I have a Fire Staff, because if you have a Fire Staff, the damage of it is increased by 15%. Same with this. Blockade of Fire deals additional damage to burning enemies. You need every passive for light armor and every passive for medium armor. You don't need to worry about heavy. My front bar ultimate is Flawless Dawnbreaker. This increases my weapon and spell damage after activating. But the main ultimate I use is this to get rid of all the ads. I like to save my ultimate for bosses on here. So if the boss has a bunch of ads, then I would use this. If it's not really an ad fight, then I would use Dawnbreaker, because this will give me bonus weapon and spell damage, and it will apply a bleed to the target in the cone. So this does more damage, but this is better for a single target. Alright, so lightweight beast trap. You could go for the other morph if you want, because it does more damage, but I find that this one has better accuracy, because you get to choose where you want to throw it, whereas the other one just puts it in front of you. So the target's moving, you can get better accuracy. You need all these top passives for Fighters Guild. You don't need the bottom, because this is not a Cyrodiil build. By the way, you need to get every passive for Undaunted. I forgot to mention that, because it's free resources, so why not? Another ability on my back bar, I have Resolving Vigor. Fiery Banner. Now, provisioning, you need to get both of these passives. Alchemy, if you have this maxed out, then you need to put everything into medicinal use, because then the potion effects will last longer than the cooldown. I'll show you how to make that banner. Get flame damage. This will increase your damage done with damage over time. Class mastery, which will create a crooks once every 5 seconds. And then minor heroism. If you get the heroism script, that one is the most important. That's how you're generating ultimate. You could go for savagery and prophecy for extra critical damage, but you will have less ultimate generation, so be warned about that. I got Master Gatherer, Gifted Rider, Sustaining Shadows, Steed's Blessing, Professional Upkeep, Liquid Efficiency, Rationer, max out Breakful, max out Steadfast Enchantment. I just like to use this one whenever I'm parsing. Otherwise, I'll use Raven Blows. So, this is your flex spot. Wrathful Strikes goes there when you're parsing. Otherwise, Raven Blows. Come into here and max out Blessed. Max out all these. And then max out all these ones. Sorry, my family's screaming in the background. And you get these. Now come into here. Max out all of these. Again, this is your flex spot. So I have Bastion, which increases my damage done to shielded enemies. But if you're fighting enemies that don't have shield, then slot Spirit Mastery instead. So that's why you purchase both of those. It's your flex spot. Alright, now let me show you the skill rotation real quick. Just build your crooks. Heavy attack with your Infernal Staff once every 20 seconds to apply a fire dot. This one does 112k on a trial dummy, but I don't have one of those in my house. And my friend's not on right now. So that's how the rotation works for this. If you do drink that potion to give yourself major savagery, then you would have 40% critical chance for your weapon. Which is good because this is a stamina build, so I'm based on physical damage anyways. Alright, I guess that concludes today's video. I'll see you next time on the channel. So it's been Chase, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.